What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit kind of an extension of the last video I did. If you didn't see that video, I went through and just kind of broke down the actual cost per vehicle to wash your car as the DIYer, just going to Walmart and picking up some products. In today's video though, we're going to be touching on how much it costs to do a complete detail as a professional car detailer. So in order to do that, guys, we're gonna kind of walk through the last video and compare the products that I used in that video to the current products I'm using as a professional, buying in bulk and able to save money that way. Then once we're done with that, we'll touch on some of the additional items. Obviously need more product to do a complete detail, polishes, all that kind of good stuff. I will say, guys, we're just gonna be focusing on the consumables here. Chemicals, some pads, things like that. We're not gonna be touching on all the equipment and tools that you would need to do a complete detail. That will be in a later video. But in today's video, we're just gonna be talking about the consumables, the things that you're gonna have to replenish and that are actually gonna get used on every detail. So you can really gauge just exactly how much it costs once you're all set up and you have all your equipment, what it costs per detail, so that moving down the road, you can know how to price your details out and all that kind of stuff so that you know exactly how much profit you're making per car. Now, if you're interested in that type of stuff, specifically on the car detailing business side, I partnered up with Luke from Wilson Auto Detailing. He's gonna be hosting a live free training coming up on September 15th. I have a link in the description for you guys so you can go in there and register for that event so you don't make sure not to miss it. He's gonna be talking about all the kind of basics around the car detailing business and then also how to start and scale your business, all the online marketing you need, all the business aspects that not everyone covers, so make sure to check that out. Okay, so let's go ahead and start jumping into the numbers here, guys. As I said, we're just gonna copy the same process that we did in the previous video. So starting off with number one, guys, is our wheel cleaner. It's super important to have a good wheel cleaner. It just makes your life so much easier. You can get away with just using a product like Super Clean or a heavy degreaser or anything like that, but you're gonna spend more time agitating. You probably have to go back and do a little bit of fine tuning. Now, if the vehicle is not that bad, that's perfect, but as a professional, when you're going out to a job, you don't know what to expect, so you wanna have a really good wheel cleaner. So in the previous video, guys, I used Meguiar's Ultimate All Wheel Cleaner. I go through about half a bottle, so that was 12 ounces of this stuff. And it came to about a price of approximately $5 worth of product right there. Now, on the professional side, guys, I like to use a few different products, but the one I'm gonna recommend to you, it's easy to use and works super, super well. Tons of videos out on the internet about it. The stuff's fantastic, and it's P&S Brake Buster. Now, I don't remember the price off the top of my head for a 16-ounce bottle, but I think it's higher than if you were to use this product. 16-ounce bottle, I think, is like 13 bucks. I think this is 24 ounces for 10 bucks. So for the DIYer, this Meguiar's product would actually be cheaper if you just want to buy a bottle of it. But if you clean your cars a lot and you want to save some money, buy it in the gallon size, or like me, I obviously work on a lot of cars, I buy it in the 5-gallon size. So currently the price difference per ounce is the same for a gallon versus a 5-gallon on Amazon. So I'll have that link in the description for you guys. But it basically comes out to 21 cents per ounce used. So again, 21 cents by the 12 ounces that I used comes to a whopping total of $2.52. So we cut our expense down already 50%. We're saving money, guys. So even for the DIYer, it makes sense to buy at least by the gallon size for your wheel cleaner. Go buy that P&S Brake Buster, you'll be good to go. Now from there, we moved on to washing the vehicle. We just used Meguiar's Gold Class. Again, this stuff is a phenomenal value. This is $10 for 48 ounces. And even when you're buying in a gallon size of other brands, you're gonna be right around that same price point. So we're gonna give it an equal value here, about 25 cents of product that we used. Now I will say, guys, again, as a professional, I do use a lot of different types of soaps. I recently made a video on Geon Foam. I absolutely love that product. It works super, super well. Higher on the pH, breaks down all the stuff on the surface of the vehicle much faster, but it also neutralizes out very, very quickly, so you don't have to worry about any damage to the paint or rubber or anything like that. But it just makes it so when you rinse it away, all that stuff comes off and makes it way faster. Again, I don't think they offer that in a 5-gallon, but they do offer it in a larger size. That's how I'm buying it, just to bring my cost down. But in today's video, we're just gonna base it off of a product like Gold Class, just a regular pH neutral soap that you can use. And I actually really like these high lubrication soaps because I'm able to use it as my clay lubricant as well. When I'm going around and claying the vehicle's surface, I can just load up, foam the car, have it nice and saturated, and keep a towel with me, keep it nice and wet as I'm working, and it's great. It works fantastic as a clay lubricant. Okay guys, now moving on. This is not the process I would do a complete detail with, but I want to touch on this really quickly just because we did it in the past video on the DIY car wash, and that's protection. So in that video we used hybrids, Meguiar's hybrid ceramic wax, spray on product, rinse it off, you're good to go. In that video I said I used about $4 worth of product. I used a fifth of the bottle, bottle's 20 bucks, so $4 of product. In my recommendation for this, guys, I always use Technician's Choice Ceramic Detail Spray. I absolutely love that product. I use it off-label too. I don't just use it on the paint, I actually use it on interiors. I love this stuff, works fantastic, so make sure to check this stuff out. If you buy it in the gallon size, it's a little bit more. It comes to like 31 cents per ounce. So in that case, we're using the same amount. We would be using $1.55 worth of product instead of the $4. If you're like me and buy it in the 5-gallon size, it brings your cost down to 21 cents, so $1.05 as opposed to $4. So again, significantly more than a 50% savings there. So that's a very, very important thing, guys, especially when you're doing volume and doing a lot of cars. Got to keep your costs down. All right, guys, then we moved on to wiping the vehicle down, just kind of cleaning up any streaks or anything that was left over with a quick detailer. In the video, I used Ultimate Quick Detailer from Meguiar's. Didn't use a lot of products, just a couple of mist on a towel and you rub it in, right? Not a big deal. You're not using a lot of product. I think I said it was about 25 cents worth of product there. But again, in this case, I'm not using a separate quick detailer. I'm actually using the ceramic detail spray from Technician's Choice again. Now I still use it straight and I just use a little bit. Now I would say my cost that was equivalent to how much I used of the Meguiar's quick detailer is, instead of 25 cents, I'm probably like 10 cents. However, you can actually cut that product and dilute it down. I don't always do it, but when I do, I go 1-to-1, so 1 part water, 1 part product. Works fantastic just as the quick detailer, and then you're cutting your cost down even more. Finally, we move on to the tire dressing. Now guys, this product was so cost effective. It's $3.97 at Walmart. It worked well. I'm happy with it. Longevity, I still don't know for sure, but it went on well. Basic water-based dressing, and I really liked it. So at the cost of $3.97 for this 23 fluid ounce bottle, even when you're buying in bulk of other brands, now it may be a more reputable product and not, now I don't want to say reputable. Turtle Wax has been around for a very long time, and their new kind of hybrid solutions line is fantastic. So I don't want to say reputable. Turtle Wax is a very reputable brand. However, I will say more consumer based, and then this is on their cheaper end. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. But if you buy something that's more along the professional grade, even a bigger size, we're going to be at that same price point. So exactly the same cost for the vehicle as this stuff, which was 40 cents, I think is what I calculated it out. So 40 cents for the vehicle. Again, the regular low profile tires. If you're using it on a truck or something with large all-terrain or mud terrain tires, then your cost is obviously going to go up because you're using more product. But on the car that I did, it had low profile tires, just a little bit of product went a long way. And finally, guys, we went on to the interior, and I was using Chemical Guys Total Interior. I actually really like this product. $10 for 16 ounces. So I didn't use very much. Again, the car was pretty clean. I just needed a basic wipe down. But in this case, we used about 25 cents worth of product. As a professional, instead of doing that, I buy in bulk. I go with just super clean and I dilute it down to what I need it for. Whether it be carpets and upholstery, plastics, vinyl, whatever I need inside the car, I'm able to dilute it down. Typically, my normal mixture ratio is 1 part super clean, 8 parts water. So even out of a gallon of product that I buy, I'm able to make 8 gallons out of it. Is that the right math? 8 or 9 gallons, whatever it is. We'll say 8 gallons for these purposes. A gallon of Super Clean is on Amazon right now for $13.37. So if I'm using the same amount, exactly the same amount as what I did with the Total Interior, because we're making 8 gallons for $13, that's 1,024 ounces. You divide that up, it basically comes to about a penny of product that I used if we're using Super Clean. So again, guys, just using those specific things like that and really working your angle. You may think, you know, just 25, oh, I use 25 cents of product. Well, that's nothing anyway, right? It's super cheap. But when you multiply that by 100, now we're getting into some money. And if you multiply a penny by 100, it's a lot better. So $25 versus $1. So again, we're looking, as a professional, we're looking to the long term. We're doing volume. So all that little stuff makes a lot of sense. So our grand total here, guys, when we're looking at wheel cleaner, soap, spray protectant, quick detailer, tire dressing, and an interior cleaner. Oh, I do want to mention one thing. Total interior does have UV protection. When I mix, I do my basic cleaning with the Super Clean, and then I will do a quick wipe down with the ceramic detail spray. It's one of the off-label situations that I use it in. It adds some UV protection to the interior, and we're good to go. So we're getting the same results as the total interior with the UV protection for still significantly cheaper. We are looking at a grand total of $4.35 as a professional versus $10.15 as a DIYer, just for those specific same products. Now let's go ahead and move on to the additional products that we will need for detailing a car. And really, the main thing that we're gonna be adding on here is your polishes and sealants and things like that. So we have the spray ceramic with our ceramic detail spray, but we need to actually polish out the car. So in this case, guys, I'm gonna be talking about Meguiar's M210 as my basic polish, and then also 3D Speed, which is a great polish and protect it in one. Now guys, we're not talking about doing a complete paint correction here. We're talking about doing a detail with a full-blown paint enhancement. It's gonna look completely different and way better and protected, but it's not making the paint 100% perfect. Paint corrections typically are hours and hours and hours on end, polishing, and even some color sanding and all that kind of good stuff. With this, we're doing a paint enhancement. Now, my complete detail typically runs about 3 hours out on the job site, depending on the size of the vehicle, obviously, but 3 to 4 hours in most cases. So with the polishes, I will use those two, and then I'll use typically 2 different pads. I'll use a heavier polish and then a light polish finishing pad. I'll link those down in the description for you guys. I use them from Rupes. I also use some from Lake Country Manufacturing, but the Rupes ones are fantastic as well and readily available. So as far as the polishes go, guys, M210 typically retails around 30 bucks for a 32 ounce, and 3D Speed typically retails for about 40 bucks for a 32 ounce. Now, I don't use both of them in every situation. Sometimes I use both equally across, sometimes I'm just using one. It just depends, but it pretty much typically averages out to where I'm spending approximately $3.50 worth of polishes on each car. And that may sound like a little bit, but basically I'm assuming, on average it's gonna be about $1.50 an ounce worth of product, and I don't use a ton of product, guys. You don't need to overload your pads. You can just keep them clean, add a little bit. You're only adding a little piece-size drop every once in a while and working the panels. So I'm assuming, I'm using 2.5, 3 ounces of product, and I think that's a good amount. I mean, for an average car, that's plenty. So again, for the polishes, between those two, I average $3.50 per car. Now let's go ahead and talk about the pads, because the pads are an absolute cost. They do degrade, they are consumable, they eventually, you're not gonna wanna use them anymore, they're gonna get beat up. Typically, I'm buying them in bulk in larger packs, and I typically average about $8 per pad. Now, on every car, I typically use between 4 and 6 pads for these paint enhancement type deals. So $8 per pad at 6 pads would put us to 48 bucks. Let's just round that up to 50. Now, out of those pads, I am able to clean them and reuse them. If I take good care of them, I can get 7 or 8 cars out of them. Not always. Sometimes you hit a spot and it just tears off the pad, or sometimes they get too contaminated and all that kind of stuff. You can't use them anymore, especially if the paint's really oxidized. The pores of the pads are just getting filled up with all that dead paint, essentially. So you don't always get that, but for this purpose, I was really trying to think through my head, how many cars can I actually get if I'm cleaning properly and actually maintaining them well? And I guess up to 8 cars, but let's just say 6 or 7 cars. So between that, say 6.5 cars, that brings us back to $8 of pad usage on each vehicle. So guys, just from the pads and polishing, that's gonna add on another $11.50, bringing our grand total for the detail stuff up to $15.85. Now, the only thing that we haven't covered really is leather cleaning and conditioning. I like to use specific cleaners and conditioners for leather, especially depending on the product, right? A lot of cars have vegan leather or leatherette, and in that case, I'll use my diluted Super Clean. I'm not worried about it that much. I still will condition them, because you still want to, even with that stuff, I like to keep it moisturized, essentially, just like adding lotion to your skin. But for full-blown leather, I do want to use a specific pH balance specific for leather cleaner. In that situation, guys, you can buy that in bulk, and when I do, it typically comes to about 21 cents per ounce. So I go through that pretty liberally, depending on the condition of the car, but I want to make sure that I pull all the contamination out of the paint. So I'm using a good amount of product, nothing crazy, but say we use half a bottle of product, 16 ounces, that will be $3.50. Again, guys, as the DIY versus the pro, you can buy a 16-ounce bottle of Chemical Guys leather cleaner, and that's like 10 bucks. So again, buying in bulk, we're getting it down to $3.50. Now from there, leather conditioner. Leather conditioner is typically a thicker cream. It's harder to buy in bulk, but you're not using as much product. You don't need to load it in super heavy. You just need to get it saturated and you're good to go. Again, it's typically costing me about $1 an ounce really. And we'll say I use about 3 ounces per car, so $3 there. So guys, with everything all included now, we have all of our basic products. We're adding in our polishes and pads, and then we're also factoring in the leather cleaning products. And that will bring us to a grand total of $22.35. Now guys, obviously that it will fluctuate depending on the car. Size of the car is gonna matter, condition of the car is gonna matter, but I mean, realistically guys, say between 20 and 25 bucks. I mean, even if it's a super saturated car, you're going through more product, but you're buying at such cheap prices, 25 bucks should be about your max. Now, additionally guys, when I'm factoring in all my costs, I actually factor in the cost of water because I use deionized spot-free water. So there's a cost to that per gallon. And towels obviously can add a little bit, but I just wanted to focus on the basic, relatively easy to understand consumables and basic kind of off that past video, like I said, so we can really see the difference between a DIYer versus a pro and how we're able to get the job done. And so that's it guys. I hope that video helps you. Stay tuned and make sure you're subscribed because I am going to be doing videos coming up here. Again, I'm going to be talking about the products you need to go out and do a professional detail. That cost obviously will be much higher, but again, you buy that and then you're good for a while. For example, a MaxShine M15 Pro, I use those all the time in my professional business. They're about 215 bucks or something like that. And cheaper if you use my discount code IMJOSHV15 on MaxShine's website, you get 15% off. But basically, I don't know how many cars I've done with that. Hundreds, really. I mean, they're fantastic machines and they work. I mean, I haven't had any issues with mine. So additionally guys, I am also going to be doing a video coming up on pricing, on how to price your details. So if you're interested in all that kind of stuff guys, make sure you're subscribed. But that's it for today's video. So please make sure to like the video, make sure you're subscribed, turn on that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one.